We're on Likkutei Torah, Drushim Rosh Hashana, page 116, 3 lines in the end of the page. Okay, the Alter Rebbe is explaining that Malchi is a Cherenis Shefris, the Kol Pashut, higher than D-board. It comes from Pnimius Alev. And what does the Pnimius Alev come from? From the person's realization of the distance they are away from Hashem and all that stuff. And that's why it's worth all the punishment to go even to Gan Eden Atachten. And you can imagine Gan Eden Elyon is infinitely greater. And this is infinitely greater than Gan Eden Elyon, right? And he said, V'zelyin t'kiya kol poshut. That's the concept of t'kiya, a simplistic voice, m'pnimis alev, from the broken heart, from the inner parts of the heart. And then you have shvarim. Shvarim is genuche ganach, meaning moaning, which is lev nishpat, which represents a broken heart. V'trua yelula yalil is like crying, which is which is the awakening of mercy. By crying, and then you have the second tkiya, you have tkiya shvarim trua tkiya, which is his galus ratzanal yumomaila, the revelation of Elokus from above. See, the Alter Rebbe explains, it's interesting, halachically we do shvarim trua because they forgot what's the real trua. But according to Kabbalah, no, there's a trua, there's a tkiya, and there's a shvarim, and there's a trua, and there's a tkiya. In other words, tkiya, he says, is the cry of the heart. Shvarim is the broken heart. And then you have trua, which is the crying of the heart. And then you have the second tkiya, that's the Gilu Momaila. That's the revelation after you did your own tkiya, shvarim, trua. Then you have the tkiya Momaila. Why? Hashem is called the rock of my heart. Levavi, b'lashon rabim. It didn't say tzur libi. Singular would be the rock of libi, my heart. Levavi means both hearts, like b'chol levavcha. The mashma beis levavis, what does it mean? The two hearts. It represents the external level of the heart, and then the pnimius level of the heart. Is a level of the external level of the heart, that's like the Alter Rebbe explained at great length before, is lower than seichel. Like it says, b'chochma yosed eret, avo pnimius alev, but the inner level of the heart is rotzenu elyon shelamayl me'achochma, which is higher than seichel. That the Alter Rebbe explained before. There's chitzenius alev and pnimius alev. Chitzenius at the external level is lower than seichel, and the pnimius alev, that's much higher than seichel. And chachma, even the level of chachma, the highest level, is called the lowest level, asiyah. The gabiratzen eli, like it says, kulam b'chachma asisa. We say every day in davening, kulam b'chachma. I mean, it's a pasuk, but we say kulam b'chachma asicha. Simply, it means Hashem made everything with chachma. But Chassidus explains, kulam b'chachma asisa, the highest level of chachma, and the lowest level of asiya is all the same thing, because that level is so infinite that even chachma, which is the highest level of the world, is still nothing. It's like the lowest of levels. And therefore this level of tkiya, which is kol pashut u'bechinas is galus pnimius alev, is the revelation of the pnimius of the heart, which is ratzon elyon shel-mayla me'achachma, which is higher than the level of chachma. So he says, what does Shofar actually do? This, he didn't even speak about the Shofar Gadol yet. He's still speaking about the regular Shofar. The regular Shofar is the revelation of the pnimius of the heart of the Jew, not the chitzenius alev. The pnimius alev, which is super, super great, which awakens the pnimius of Elokus. So in other words, the tkiya, which is the cry from the heart, pnimius alev. And then you have the shvarim trua, the moaning and the crying, which is the broken heart. That reveals the tkiya from above, which is the pnimius alev kavayach, meaning the pnimius level of Elokus. So the pnimius of a Jew reveals the pnimius of Hashem. And that's what it says, and this is what it says. Have Adnai Havaya b'Sheifer Yitaka. That Adnai Havaya, the two levels, Hashem and Havaya, will blow Kamer Derech Moshe Atkiya. She'll call Pashim and Pnimis Alev. Just like the simplistic curl is from the simple part of the heart, Kachal Derech Moshe. It's the revelation of Elokus from above, which is higher than the level of Asius. That come from Chochmah. The Rebbe explained before, in order to form letters, you need the level of Chochmah. That's why a baby can't talk, because they don't have that level of Chochmah even. But here we're talking about a cry of the heart, not like a baby lower than Chochmah, but it's a cry of the heart higher than Chochmah, because letters come from the level of Chochmah, Reis min Chochmah Nafka. The Ikra B'chinas Eisis Torah comes from the level of Chochmah. What's Tersha B'Ksav? Primarily letters. Every letter has to be exact. Commandment is Al Kol HaTorah, Shmeisa Shal Baruch, meaning Eisis HaTorah. And that's Val Shem Zen Nikra Mikra. Why is Chumash called, Torah is called Mikra? Right? Shnayim Mikra, Chumash is called Mikra. Why is it called Mikra? The Rebbe says because it's calling, Mikra means to call somebody. So normally when you call somebody, they turn to you, they come to you. When a person reads the letters of Torah, they're causing Hashem to come to them. They're calling Hashem. By the Alvai Kain and the Gia Pesel, but therefore two letters that touch in the Sefer Torah are not kosher, or extra letters, the missing letters. They're letters. Letters has to be exact. If two letters are touching, it's not two separate letters. It's only one letter because they're touching. Is a level of Pnimis Alev, which is infinitely higher than the level of letters, and that's the level of B'Sheifer. So in other words, how do we reveal the level of Malchias? She says that Hashem should want to be a king. And through Zichrenis, meaning that we're far from Hashem, and Hashem is remembering us, meaning He's bringing us closer in His memory, so to speak. How does that accomplish? That Hashem should want to be a king? That's only through the level of Shofar. Because Shofar is the cry of the heart, the Pnimius Alev that awakens the Pnimius of Elokus, that He should want to be a king over us. Okay. No. Shabbos to a certain extent, that's what he's going to explain later, but no, Shofar is what does it.
The Kaaba Shofar Baruch Hu saying. That's what Dovra Mal says, Machalan Chiku Benu. So, I mean, but he says L'chol HaSheikro. Means everybody. Then he says, okay, learn a Maamar, read the Rebbe. V'nei Dalit. V'nei Eid Zeis. More than this, Shaydei, and not only do you reveal that level of Elokus down here, but Memale Kol HaPgamim Shenasei De Avenis Mishana Sha'avra. Not only that, what does Shofar accomplish? Shofar, the Rambam says, the level of tshuva. Uri Yishen Mishenaschem, wake up from your sleep. He says, this level of Shofar fills all the blemishes that you meet during the previous year. Why? What is the blemish? You didn't keep the 248 positive and you transgressed the 365 negative. That comes in the level of Chachma Shemiman and Nimshur Torah. Ad Sham, Ba'ad Sham Agim Apgam. Like we said, where does the Averis reach? Like the Friedrich Rebbe says in Basi Lagani. It reaches Seichel, Mides, Machshava, Dibur, and Maisa. The revealed levels of the Neshama, Nefesh, Ruach, and Neshama is where the Averis touch. But in the deeper levels, there's no blemishes. Like we explained the other night. A child and a son, behavior is totally irrelevant. In the actual bond of a father and a child,
it's above a level that behavior touches. He says, it comes from the level of Chochmah, therefore it fills all the blemishes. That happens in Chochmah through sins, and then it reveals a new revelation much stronger than the one that was affected. Like a river that dried up. And what happens when a river dries up? You dig deeper. And when you dig deeper, then all of a sudden the water is there. You have all the water back again. Because there's three knots tying each other. Okay, because it says like this. The Zohar says, there's three knots, Hashem with Torah and Torah with the Jews. Okay? So even though the Rebbe asks it's two knots, the Torah, if you have three things, 1, 2, and 3, so there's a knot between 1 and 2, and a knot between 2 and 3. Why does the Zohar say three knots? Huh?
Between 1 and 3.
I'm saying, so what the Rebbe explains, what's the third knot? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu Araisa Yisrael, and then Yisrael's tied again to Hashem. So it's a circle. So therefore he says, but that's only Kshemer Darkei HaTorah VaMitzvah. When you keep Torah mitzvahs, so then you're connected to Hashem. What happens in Chas V'Shalom Pagam Beis Mitzvah? But what happens if you blemish a certain mitzvah? Nachla Shakasher Alos Di Yisrael Miskashim Erais. Then the knot gets looser, right? Because you're lacking in that connection. So how do you reconnect again? That's the level of tshuva. Which is Sefer Kol Almin, which is Kodesh Umuvdol, and Miskashin Erais B'chinas Chochmah. So therefore you tap into a higher level. What's that higher level? Kodesh Baruch Hu, which is Kodesh Umuvdol. By days that Kodesh Baruch Hu Erais of Yisrael, and through this higher Gilui, they just explained through Shofar, reveals within Torah and Yidden, like it says, Antu Shlima de Kulu, what we say in Pasuk Leo, Hashem, you're a Shlima de Kulu, you're complete. Antu Mamalik Kolamen, because you're above everything, so therefore you can rectify everything. And that's what it says, Vayaver Avay al Pana Vayikra. Hashem. Now not in the Chumash, but there's a separation between Hashem and Hashem. Right? Psik Tama B'Gavaya, it says. Why? Ki Yashbeis B'chinas Shemes Havaya. Because there's two levels of Havaya. What do we say? Vayikra Hashem. Doesn't say Hashem Keorachim. What do you say Hashem? Obviously there's two levels of Yud Kei Vav Kei. Do we say Hashem? Aleph B'Shtaushlis, one level of Yud Kei Vav Kei is the 10 Sfiras. Yud is Chochmah, Hey is Bina, Vav is the 6 Sfiras, and Hey is Malchus. And that's where the blemishes happen in Torah mitzvahs. That level of Yud Kei Vav Kei, you blemish. You're learning in Igerta Tshuva, you blemish the Yaakov Chavol Nachlosah. We say in Pagamki base Yud, if I blemish the letter Yud through Krishma. Ki mitzvahs Krishma, what's the Inyan of mit Krishma? The Yachta Avaya Echad, to become one with Avaya Echad Shein Eid Mulvade. V'kula Kamech Shivi. So therefore, what's the level of Shema? Eid Eid Mulvade. So when you don't do Shema, you blemish that letter of Yud. Vizel Pegam Beis Yud, which is the level of Chochma Keach Bittul Keach Ma. Sha'chochma Ma'in Timot Shenim Shech V'nei L'Tomim B'chinas So'ayin. So therefore, a person through mitzvahs blemishes the lower level of Yud Kei Vav Kei. You have Chochma Bin at that level. By day Bittul Mitzvah say V'ahavtas Hashem, you would blemish the letter Hey, which is Bina. And Bittul Talmud Torah, pagan Beis Vav. And because Kol HaTorah is Amshachas Min Chochmah Ilah. It all comes from Chochmah. And therefore, Mevatul Talmud Torah, you blemish the letter Vav. And through Bittul Mitzvahs Maisis He'achreinu, which is Asiyah. Okay? So basically, the Alter Rebbe is explaining, there's a lower level of Yud Kei Vav Kei that's connected to Ishtalshalos, to the worlds. That level is Chachma, Bina, 6 feet. That's the blemishing through various different mitzvahs that you blemish by Vedas. That's only the lower level of Yud Kei Vav Kei. Shubachinis is Tavish Ishtalshus. But Shem Havaya Deleilo, but the higher level of Yud Kei Vav Kei. Even though it's called Havaya because creation comes from it, it's an infinitely greater level which is higher than Ishtalshlis, which is Ratzon Elyon, which is Maila Min HaChochma, and therefore there has to be a separation. Hashem. Okay? Meaning there has to be a separation between the two levels. The lower level of Havaya is connected to world, therefore behavior affects it, you blemish it. And then you have the higher level of Havaya. So what happens by Yud Gimel Midas Rachmim? We're revealing the higher level of Havaya, which is never blemished, because higher than world, higher than behavior. And that reveals itself in the second Havaya. And therefore, that's the concept of tshuva. All the averos are fixed.
And then we say
Kel is chesed, whatever. It goes through the various different spheres. Mm-hmm. Then you have Rav Chesed, Then you have Tiferes, which is Emes, is Tiferes, whatever. So he says, Vayikra. So what does it mean now, Havaya? Vayikra. Remember, he just said, when you call, they come to you. You're mamshich it. So he says, what is Vayikra Havaya? Meaning, he's keir o mamshich. When a Jew says, Yud Gimel Midas Rachmim, if he says it properly, he's calling and revealing the higher level of Havaya, Shel Ma'al Mi Ishtalshus, to be revealed within Ishtalshus. Okay, where does the brackets end? Okay, next column, 5 lines down. The malice collab garment to fix all the blemishes. V'achesreinis shenasa the avenis. It comes through the avenis. Okay, that's the bottom line of Yud Gimel Midas Rachmim, which is the same concept of Shofar. Shofar is revealing a level of Elokus that's so deep and so great that everything is fixed. Why is everything fixed? Because there are no blemishes in that level. But not only that, not only are you revealing a level there's no blemishes, it comes down into the world of blemishes and fixes them too. By the way, Yom Kippur is even higher than that. Whatever. Just like he explained before, in the marshal of the river that dries up, when you dig deeper, you get the water. What is the level of tshuva? Tshuva through the level of tshuva. In the level of Havaya you reveal a level of Elokus higher than Ishtalshus. That's the level of Shofar, that's the level of tshuva. Therefore tshuva and Shofar are interconnected. Like it says, Mimamakim Karasich Hashem, from the depths. And therefore he says, Yud Gimel Midas Rachmim. This is not our minute, but the Alter Rebbe in Likkutei Torah says a lot of things and explains a lot of things, even though it's not our minute. It's not the Rebbe explains this many times. Because then it becomes revealed the level of Havaya. Shalamayel mi ishtalshlis, which is Ratzon Elyon, Shalamayel mi HaChochma. through the kol shepashet of shofar, shu is galus pnimis halev. Okay? Now, so he says shofar accomplishes. Now we'll understand why a shofar has to come from a ram and not from a cow. He says, "V'chein tzarich is a shofar davka shel ayil shel yal, avol shepara posel." A shofar from a cow is not a kosher shofar. It's a mishnah, right? It's not kosher. Why? What's wrong with a shofar? Is a shofar. What's the difference? He says, "Pnei sher me'asmel," because the shirt and the merkava is on the left, which is the level of gvuris. By ef shalam shachayadi, you can't reveal through gvura. Rachmim rabma now, which is pnimis alev, which is rotzen elyon. Adrab, smell deicha. Smell left pushes away. Here we're trying to reveal a level of rachmim rabim. So if you have the shofar of a parah, that's the level of sure. That's the level of smell. Smell pushes away, and you want the revelation. You don't want it pushed away. By the way, the Gemara says the reason is it's so interesting the way you have the simple reason, and then you have the Kabbalistic reason, which is the life of it. Simply, it says because the horn of a cow is not called a shofar; it's called a keren. And the Torah says you have to blow in a shofar.
I thought because of the we had the golden calf. So
No. Maybe, I don't know. But the simple reason Gemara says because it's not a shofar, it's a keren. But Baruch Chassidus explains what. Why isn't it called a shofar? So the answer is because shofar from an ox is gvura, and here we bring mamshich rav chesed. So it can be gone through gvura.
Do you think because the keves at Torah and Yitzchak was a keves?
There was an aisle. If you daven today, vayaris aisle, it was a ram.
Gevura cannot reveal the Pesach.
No, because God pushes it away.
Is there Gevura in higher level?
Yes. Chassidus explains in the famous pasuk we say every Mitzvah Shabbos, "V'yitan l'cho Elokim mitala shemaim," the brachas that Yitzchak gave Yaakov, right? The greatest brachas. Shmani Haaretz, all the greatest brachas. So Chassidus asks, why does he say "V'yitan l'cho Elokim"? Elokim is Gvura. He said "V'yitan l'cho Havaya." Chassidus explains there's a level of Gvura which is taketh the power and the might and whatever. But when you get this level of revealing Rachmim Rabim, you can't have Gevura. It has to be the level of a shofar.
There be revelation of chesed without Gevura.
No, he says, because Akvasim Hifrid Yaakov, because Yaakov separated the Kvasim, which is the level of Rachmanis, which is Midas Shel Yaakov. Like we see by sheep, when they cry, whatever sound they make, he says, Yeshlam kol rachmanu shemei rachmim. When they cry out, it's like a rachman is like a voice that the sheep make.
Why is a car level of Gevura?
A car,
Why
a
is
shor,
a cow?
because shor, which is a male cow, comes from the left side of the Merkava. Ari is on the right, and the shor is on the left. Left symbolizes Gevura.
So that's the dream.
Right. So then you're able to reveal a higher level. So now he says like this. Ideally, we're talking about the pneumius of the heart of the Jew, right? What awakens the pneumius of Hashem? The pneumius of the Jew. So the Alter Rebbe is asking, L'chei Shofar doesn't do it, it's the cry of the Jew that does it. He says, "In Yagam sheikram shochet e pneumius alev tzarek libam, im kol zehu aydei tkiya b'shofar dafka." It dafka comes through shofar, because action is what makes it happen. In other words, the ultimate level of Pnimius Halev, when do you know you really mean it? When do you know you mean something? When it comes into action. You can tell somebody, I love you, I love you, I love you. Until it comes into action, it's worthless. Doesn't mean anything.
Saying is the action.
No. In Pirkei Avos it says, Emer ma'at v'aseh harbei. Say little and do a lot. Talk is cheap. No, really, and not only that, to just explain, it's the little things that really make it. Like in a marriage, it's not the big things, you buy something, a birthday, anniversary. It's the day-to-day things that really make it, not the who-house. It's the little actions. But if it doesn't come into action, it's worthless. And therefore he says, even though it's really Pnimius Halev of the person, the crying, but his action, that's the shofar. The shofar's action reveals the Pnimius of the Jew.
That makes action, that makes shofar higher than you do in the Torah.
Correct. Because not only is it action, but he says the revelation of Pnimius Rotem tzarich nimshich lamata stabish begashmius. This level of elokus, what do we daven Rosh Hashana? Kosfeinu b'sefer chaim tevim, kosfeinu b'sefer parnasa, to have mezainis gashmim l'odam. What are we davening? Like we say now, it should be parnasa, it should be health, it should be gashmistic things. Like the Alter Rebbe said, another Jew's gashmius for you is ruchnius. I mean, worrying about another Jew's gashmius is for you ruchnius. So he said, not only is it coming into action, but the Alter Rebbe is saying even more, it needs to come down into gashmius. So therefore you need a physical sound of the shofar.
Okay, so we blow the shofar, we ask Hashem, all this stuff.
All this stuff.
Beautiful. What happened to the Jew that doesn't hear it? All this thing happened to that Jew or not?
Yeah. Yeah. But the problem is, it's not internalized by them.
But we can't say Hashem is not for
This Pnimius Halev, this Yechidah Shebenefesh, exists by every single Jew. But sometimes even that is concealed. In the comments of the Rebbe in the back, and in the Maamar of the Frierdiker Rebbe, so the Rebbe writes, it says in Basi Lagani that the Ruach Shtus of sin only covers the Seichel Midas, it doesn't cover therefore he says, a Jew who sins is still, when it comes to Avodah Zarah, is willing to give up his life. So the Rebbe was asked, but there are Yidden that worship idols. Here we're saying this, that the Pintali can only be in everything else, not in the essence. So the Rebbe answers, sometimes the Ruach Shtus can cover even the Yechidah. But again, it doesn't erase it, it covers it. All you have to do is blow it away, not recreate it. We said the Rebbe didn't like the expression that the Kiruv movements use, Kiruv Rechaikim. That's the Kiruv Rechaikim, the Rebbe says a Jew is never far. It's not the pshat. A Jew is far and you have to be Mekad of him. The Rebbe says, no, a Jew is never far. You just have to reveal it, but not, it's like a guy could be standing right in front of you, behind the curtain. He's not far from you. And the proof is, take away the curtain. That's what you got to do. Take away the Rosh Shtus that covers the Jew, but he's not far. He's close. He's just covered. Uncover it. Uncover the Jew. Listen, What goes on now in the world, I don't know. But when the Rebbe blew shofar, the Rebbe did binyan amalchus for everybody. That was it. We blew shofar, you have to blow shofar. But the level in the world that the Rebbe does, the Rebbe is mamshech these levels in his shofar blowing. We blow shofar because you got to blow shofar. Doesn't,
We would review